Hello, I often talk about Celebrate Recovery being for anyone who struggles with a hurt, hang-up, or other issues. So whether you're somebody who was hurt as a child and you're still dealing with those issues, or you've got people-pleasing hang-ups and things that keep you stuck in relationships, or you're addicted to something like maybe food, sex, alcohol, drugs, or whatever it is, that Celebrate Recovery is really for anyone to help. In fact, it is the truth that Celebrate Recovery is a great answer. Celebrate Recovery is for all of us because we've all been hurt. We've all hurt other people. We've all got things in our lives that keep us stuck and keep us frozen where we are. Things we wish we didn't deal with never seem to go away. And for many of us, we have these issues that also just rob us of any joy or peace that we have in our lives. But you know what? There's another group of people that we call dual diagnosis, and this is somebody who struggles with an issue in Celebrate Recovery, but they also have mental issues. And this is somebody who's got depression, and this depression leads them to self-medicate, or somebody who's got suicidal thoughts and they also self-medicate. Or whatever that issue might be, Celebrate Recovery is the answer. And so with Celebrate Recovery, really it's part of a process that can help anyone. But there are some times where we need a little bit more. Maybe we need to be going to a church leader or a professional who can prescribe us medicine, my friends. Maybe we need to be in a support group where we work through something that's going on in our lives while we work through Celebrate Recovery. Friends, the thing about Celebrate Recovery is that it's a biblical program, and it has 8 principles that lead us from one place to another place, over one day at a time to another day at a time, 24 hours at a time. We begin where we realize that we're not God. We come out of denial. We face our fears. We face the problems that have keeping us stuck in a cycle of life. We turn our lives over to Jesus Christ. We do things like taking a moral inventory of our lives, and we look at all the things that we've done and have been done to us to help us come out of this cycle. We talked to other people about what's happening in our lives in Celebrate Recovery. Then at the end, we serve those people because we believe that God uses our pain so that we can help other people when they go through pain. I wrote a book called Struggles Became My Strength. And so what we really want to do is just tell you about this ministry, this place where you can come and you can find healing no matter what's going on in your life. It's not just for addictions. We have some people that have gone through Celebrate Recovery for years that have dealt with issues like anxiety, and they wake up every single morning in a cold sweat and they just look at the day and they think, how am I going to get through today? Well, my friends, by going to seek help and by working the principles and the steps of recovery, they are able to find day by day freedom over that issue by reaching out to Jesus Christ. We have other people who are severely depressed and they also need to find a way out. There are people who struggle with anxiety and are recovering alcoholics amongst us. And I know that when they hurt, they self-medicate. So we find that we've got these issues, and what we need to do is to come clean about them. We need to talk to each other about our issues. We need to talk to God about our issues. We allow Him to work in our lives and to find the things that really are causing us to pain. You know, the reality of it is that whatever we are doing tends to be a symptom in life. We think, I need to come to recovery because I drink too much, or I'm online too much, or I spend too much money on silly things in life. And while that might be true, we need to get out of that simple behavior. We need to root it out. The truth is, often, reason we're doing those things are buried deeper inside of us. And so, that's what recovery allows us to do. That's what Celebrate Recovery is all about. It allows us to find that pain that's in our lives, that's keeping us frozen, keeping us stuck, is available for healing. And so that's all about Celebrate Recovery. I hope that you'll come to Celebrate Recovery and find peace here. We here at Celebrate Recovery can work through your issues so that you can help other people who are struggling with something similar to what you're struggling with. Let us dive into some Q&A, and remember, I'll be praying for you. Somebody had said, what is Celebration Recovery? Celebrate Recovery is a recovery program aimed at all hurts, habits, and hang-ups, including but not exclusive to high anxiety, codependency, compulsive behaviors, sex addiction, financial dysfunctions, drug and alcohol addictions, and eating disorders. Another question, is Celebrate Recovery just for addicts? The program addresses not just alcoholism and drug addiction, but codependency, depression, eating disorders, gambling, sexual addiction, and sexual abuse. Awareness has increased with the April release of a feature film called Home Run that centers on alcohol experience in Celebrate Recovery. I hope you look it up and watch it. Another question, how many steps are in Celebrate Recovery? There are 12 steps. Celebrate Recovery takes the traditional 12 steps from AA and adds a biblical complement to each concept. We admit it, we are powerless over our addictions and compulsive behaviors, that our lives have become unmanageable. Another question is Celebrate Recovery free? Celebrate Recovery does not charge for attendance at this ministry. However, Celebrate Recovery itself asks for donations so that we can cover the cost for dinner. And there always are books and other resources that are available for purchase at the resource table on your way in or out. Another question was, what is the difference between Celebrate Recovery and AA? Celebrate Recovery is a group that's focusing on broad numbers of issues, with Alcoholics Anonymous specifically concentrates on individuals recovering from alcoholism. One of the biggest differences between these two groups is the basis on which the Recovery Foundation is built. Another question is, what are the 8 recovery principles? The road to recovery based on these facts. Realize I'm not God. I admit that I am powerless to control my tendency to do a wrong thing and that my life is unmanageable. That is step 1. Happy are those who know that they are spiritually poor in Matthew 5:3. Here's another step. Earnestly believe that God exists, that I matter to Him, and that He has the power to help recover. Happy are those who mourn, who they shall be comforted in Matthew 5:4. Step number 3. Consciously choose to commit all my life will to Christ's care and control. Happy are the meek, Matthew 5:5. Openly examine and confess my faults to myself, to God, and to someone I trust is step 4 and step 5. Happy are the pure in heart, Matthew 5:8. Another one would be voluntarily submit to any and all changes God wants to make in my life, and humbly ask to remove my character defects, steps 6 and 7. Happy are those whose greatest desire is to do what God requires in Matthew 5:6. Another one, elevate all my relationships, offer forgiveness to those who have hurt me, and make amends for harm I've done to others when possible, except when to do so would harm them or others. Step 8 and 9. Happy are the merciful in Matthew 5:7. Happy are the peacemakers in Matthew 5:9. Another one would be reserve a daily time with God for self-examination, Bible reading, and prayer in order to know God and His will for my life. and to gain the power to follow his will. Steps 10 and 11. Yield myself to God to be used to bring this good news to others, both by my example and my words. Step 12. Happy are those who are persecuted, because they do what God requires. Matthew 5:10. Friends, do I have to be a Christian to attend? Someone asked. No. All you have to do is qualify, is to have a hurt, a hang-up, or habit, and desire to get help, and desire to reach to God for help. Is Celebrate Recovery court mandated? Some people ask. Is it court mandated approved? We have found nationwide that many local courts recognize Celebrate Recovery as a proven and effective 12-step program for alcohol and drug-related mandates. However, we strongly suggest that you confirm with your local court to ensure that they approve Celebrate Recovery. Do I have to belong to the same denomination to go to Celebrate Recovery at the church where it is held? Good question. No, everyone is welcome at Celebrate Recovery, no matter your denomination. You do not have to belong to a church to come to Celebrate Recovery. It's that simple. Who is Celebrate Recovery for? Well, Celebrate Recovery is for anyone. Anyone struggling with life, anyone struggling with anything. If you have ever had a hurt, if you have ever had a hang-up, if you perhaps are struggling with an addiction, then this ministry is for you. We all share one thing, and one thing in common. We all hurt in life. Have you ever felt helpless and hopeless in your circumstances that you're in right now? Overwhelmed and out of control, that your life was unmanageable? Frustrated that you have failed again and again for the umpteenth time? So discouraged that it is hard to put one foot in front of the other one? Friends, you ever say to yourself, I hate myself? Are you alone and going crazy? Embarrassed and ashamed that you can't stop, and you can fill in the blank? Faulty and that you are a failure? Scared and paralyzed to do anything about it? My friends, no one could possibly understand your situation, you probably are saying. I do. Celebrate Recovery does. You can't tell anyone about blank. If they knew, they would not like me, you might be asking. No one cares about the incredible pain that I'm in, you are probably saying. We do care. If you feel any of these things, you are not alone. Let's all celebrate our recovery starting today. Celebrate Recovery. It's a biblical foundation to help